Okobo local government takes decisive steps, moves to demarcate Okopedi and Amammong boundaries. As communities reaches truce, the transition chairman of Okobo local government, Honorable Engineer George Henshaw, has urged relevant stakeholders in Okopedi and Amammong communities to support ongoing efforts toward the demarcation of the intercommunity boundary. The Okobo Transition Chairman made the call in Okopedi, the local government headquarter, on Friday, February 23, 2024 at a Peace and Reconciliation meeting convened by the Local Government Council with some eminent sons and daughters of Okobo, including members of the Peace Committee, to address the lingering intercommunity boundary dispute and to implement the committee recommendations.
Remember, some time ago, there was a misunderstanding between Okopedi community, Amammong community, based on a little parcel of land on the borderline between Okopedi community and Amammong. My predecessor, who is Dr. Sylvester Attah, worked on the process of seeing how we can restore peace back to that particular region. But Siamonu, during the process, the government, a matter of time frame, he needs government money. So that is why when I came to office and also through document and also being informed that there is need for us to continue and establish that peace permanently.
Engineer Henshaw disclosed that the essence of the meeting was to review the status of the boundary and consolidate on the way forward towards demarcation of the boundary on the peace and confidence building process already initiated by his predecessor, Dr. Sylvester Attah. He said that the intercommunity boundary dispute between Okopedi and Amammong dated back several years ago, but resurfaced in 2020, where many lives and properties worth billions of dollars were lost due to violent clash over some parcel of land. The transition chairman said the persistent crises on the non-determination and demarcation of the Okopedi and Amammong intercommunity boundary has led to many bloodshed, and must be arrested by creating a thoroughfare along the boundary, describing it as one of the volatile intercommunity boundaries in the local government with high risk of threat to peace. Engineer Henshaw, while thanking Governor Umo Ino for his numerous projects in Okobo local government, he appreciated the Governor Umo Ino for his peace sustenance policies.
A few other programs we plan to do. As we speak now, His Excellency has also approved the construction of a brand new chairman's lodge. We approved, we want to start by next week, foundation stage. And if you look go by all these projects, the government, from even the senator, the single senator during that meeting, which is a third senatorial district, is also of opinion that the ravine within Okopedi, aka going through that side, there should be an intervention. And it's also on the project to remodel St. Vincent Secondary School. Martin Mason, who is also a son representing us from the Federal constituency, is also of opinion the project he has in mind to do. If you put all those projects together, that has also shown that Kenyan and the people of Okobo local government get the dividend of government, supported it and the good government, and because of that, what we need cardinally, strongly, togetherness and peace.
While calling for support to resolve the boundary disputes, the transition chairman urged the stakeholders at the meeting to work towards achieving peace for all. He noted that no meaning development can be achieved in an atmosphere of rancor and conflict, and urged Okopedi and Amammong communities to give peace a chance. The council boss appreciated the patriotic disposition of the Peace Committee and other prominent sons and daughters of both Okopedi and Amammong for supporting the process of peace and reconciliation. On his part, paramount ruler of Okobo local government, Edidem-Ida Okokon, Ison C1, urged the two warring communities to eschew all forms of violence and embrace peace, which will lead to peaceful coexistence among them. The royal father thanked the transition chairman, Engineer George Henshaw, for working with critical stakeholders and security agencies in the area with a view to bring about lasting peace in Okopedi and Amammong communities, describing him as the Joshua of Okobo who has come to lead Okobo to the promised land.
Which we have together. Now, About says you Moses, lead it to Israel, the promised land of peace. Moses Anam, to a certain point, Joshua didn't complain. This is Joshua for God. Come to go because I personally have established peace committee, but they could not go. The people there, the peace committee, the God-given people, the people that God used, the committee to make this peace.
Methodist Church Nigeria, Archdiocese of Uyo, Most Rev. John Nkoko Bassi, said that with forgiveness and sincerity of purpose, the good old peaceful days for which Okopedi and Amammong is known are within touching distance. He expressed confidence that the high-level meeting convoked by both parties was an indication of the willingness to eschew all forms of hostilities, bearing in mind that peace is paramount to the social and economic well-being of any society. The clergyman used the occasion to call on the youths on both sides to maintain the peace while resisting external influence that can lead to renewed hostilities. In his remark, former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, and sitting Chairman, Governing Council, Akwa Ibom State Polytechnic, Chief Barrister Epenyong Ntekem praised the Transition Chairman for convening the Peace and Reconciliation meeting, which according to the legal luminary will broker lasting peace between Okopedi and Amammong communities. Barrister Ntekem recalled that the local government had first intervened on the boundary dispute by setting up a Peace and Reconciliation Committee during the regime of Dr. Sylvester Attah, and that he had personally convened several meetings with both communities at different times before and after the Peace Committee was inaugurated. He said, "The several peace moves were always sabotaged by some people from Okopedi and Amammong, who accused him of being interested in the matter because of his aspiration to become a clan head, a position Barrister Ntekem said he never contemplated in his life before. He regretted that the conflict would not have lasted till date, if the communities were cooperating with the government." The legal luminary reminded the warring communities that government have all the powers to do whatever can bring about peace without the communities, noting that all lands belong to the government who can seize it at will, like the airport lands that were taken over by the government for the Ibom airport. He charged all the stakeholders from Okopedi and Amammong communities to embrace the Peace Committee recommendation in their own interest.
Be committed to peace. Every leader wants peace because he wants his community to be progressive. You cannot take a decision today and go and hand over the leadership of the village to someone that is capable. A big power is in the level. Say the leader is talking about the different man wants to come to the government. You are not used to come. You are showing what change. You change come. Mr. German, thank you. I beg our leaders and our chiefs from the two communities, I say, give peace a chance. I plead with you to give peace a chance. Many more things are coming. Please give peace a chance. Again, environment,
Chairman of the five-man Peace Committee, Chief Victor Etienne Abassi Odiong, said that the committee, after a series of meetings to make the recommendations an acceptable one, and also to enhance and promote peaceful coexistence among the two brothers of Okopedi and Amammong. He further reiterated that the process was a hectic one, but thanked God for the successful assignment. He stated that the committee had done their part and now hand over to the government, noting that they will work with government to get to the final stage of the peace movement. The Peace Committee chairman appreciated the people of Okopedi and Amammong for their cooperation and support for the committee to achieve their objectives, which he said, such continuous cooperation will benefit all sons and daughters of Okobo. Spokesperson and group head of Okopedi community, Chief Emmanuel Imo, who spoke at the meeting, said the people of Okopedi are in total agreement with the recommendation of the Peace Committee. He said the only remaining part of the recommendation which has not been implemented is the demarcation of the boundary between Okopedi and Amammong communities. But argued that the people of Okopedi were not part of the boundary inspection carried out by the Peace Committee, appealing to the council chairman to also take Okopedi on inspection of the boundary before the demarcation exercise is carried out. He therefore assured the Council of Okopedi people's support for the demarcation. In the same vein, the representative of Amammong, Chief Yukpong expressed satisfaction at the level of sincerity displayed at the meeting, pledging to do everything necessary to prevail on the youths from the Amammong extraction to denounce violence in all its forms. After the meeting between the Local Government Council and the warring communities of Okopedi and Amammong in Okobo, both parties have agreed to restore peace in their communities. They also reached an agreement with the Okobo local government for demarcation of the boundary between both communities. As recommended by the Peace Committee. In this regard, a date and time has been fixed by both parties to visit the farmland for the final demarcation and opening of thoroughfare. Representatives of the Army represented by Warrant Officer Okoronkwo Vitalis, the police represented by the Divisional Police Officer Okobo, CSP Kelechi Amadi, commended the commitment to organize the peace meeting, which they all described as the best and the surest way to achieving a lasting peace. Other stakeholders at the meeting included former Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, himself a former member of the National Assembly, RT. Hun. Bar. Peter Linus Umo, the head of Okobo Local Government Service, Mrs. Afeong Ebimi, represented at the meeting by the Director of Administration and General Services in Okobo, Pastor Daniel, Vice Chairman of Okobo Local Government Transition Committee, Mr. Anthony Antaya, Transition Secretary, Hun. Adu Attah, Supervisor for Works and Transport, Mr. Joe Epenyong, Supervisor for Information, Mr. Dennis Antaya, among other prominent sons and daughters of